Hey y'all! So today I want to talk to you guys about houseplants, and not only am I going to be talking about houseplants, but more specifically low light houseplants, because that is what is getting us through the day here in Zone 7A. And if you've been following me for a while, you will know that in my Brooklyn apartment it was kind of a dungeon. I think we had like maybe 3 windows, so I had plenty of time to learn all about low light houseplants, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you today, as well as trying something new, working with moss to create a really fun and creative houseplant arrangement for a dark corner in this house. So let's just get into it. Today I'm trying something different by using what's called a moss mat as the base for my houseplant arrangement. Now I'm pretty comfortable using low light plants because I've had a lot of practice in my Brooklyn apartment, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about the plants as I go along. The materials that you'll need for this project are a pair of scissors, some moss mat or any type of moss that you prefer to use, a wire basket, and my favorite Diggs gardening gloves. So I'm using this Instagreen moss mat because I didn't want to deal with the little pieces of moss trying to fall through these holes here. So this mat will be perfect. And you can see it's got sort of a wiring on the back, and then the other side is delicious and green. So we want to just kind of measure it out a bit. Have a little bit hanging over the front because that's the area that we're going to be top dressing. And then this paper can come right off. And then we're going to get another piece. Once you feel like you have your moss tucked in, I'm going to add this plastic bag. I'll poke a couple holes in the bottom for drainage. You could add burlap if you have it. To water this plant, I'm still going to just pick it up and take it to the sink and water it. The bag is not for watering purposes, it's for soil. I don't want a ton of soil falling out every time my dogs bang this. So this is my solution. And I'll just cut it to size. And then poke some holes in the bottom there. Just cut a couple of drainage holes right in the bottom. So she's got great drainage. And don't worry if you feel like you don't have enough moss, because we can add more around in the end. And for that, we'll use the loose moss. Okay, so while I'm planting, I do want to just talk to you about some of these plants, because I have tried out a whole slew of plants in my past, and this is what seems to work best for me in low light situations. The first plant that I'll be using is a Syngonium or arrowhead plant, and I've had experience with this in very dark corners, which won't be an issue this time because we have plenty of light in this house, but it will be in a north-facing window and it'll do just fine there. I am going to knock off some of the soil around the root ball though, just to make it fit a little bit more comfortably. And I'm going to sink it right down in, and then I'm going to pack some fresh soil around its roots here. I believe this next plant is pronounced Dieffenbachia, but don't quote me on that. This plant is amazing and super adaptable. It can handle lower light situations. Though the brighter the light, the better the variegation, I still think this plant will do beautifully in our arrangement. I know I'm butchering these plant names, but giving it my best go. Dieffenbachia. You guys can correct me in the comment section below, but also known as a dumb cane. This plant is really pretty, and I'm going to set it a bit higher so we've got some symmetry with the arrowhead plant. Then I'm going to go in with this spider plant, and I need to stand up because I can't see. Look at those roots. This plant typically likes like moderate light, especially if you want to keep the variegation alive. Now my current spider plant does just fine in a darker corner, so again, the brighter the light, the better the variegation, but the plant will be fine. I had to turn this so I could see what I was doing because it's getting very difficult when the plants are quite tall. So next I'm going to go in with this variegated English ivy. You know, English ivy is typically known for taking a ton of shade. But again, like I was saying for the other variegated plant, if you want to keep the variegation alive, you know, try to make sure it gets a little something, a little some kind of light. And I actually don't think I need all of this, so I'm gonna take some of it out. That's how you get multiple plants. I have some English ivy actually that I was ripping out from my backyard. I have some propagating inside. As a house plant, I think it's gorgeous. When I see it outside, my heart drops. I'm like, get out of here. Because I'm scarred for life after my Brooklyn apartment.
It literally fits through the little slots of the fence, and then it does this. It like rips it apart, literally like a monster. It's like the Hulk of plants.
He literally took over everything. Next plant I'm going to use is this gorgeous Fittonia, and I have grown this so many times just because it is so easy to propagate, and it literally is just stunning with the little pink veins. And I know for a fact it can handle low light because it lived in my apartment for so long. The last thing I'm going to add to this side, a different variety of Fittonia, which I think is stunning. Very nice contrast. And I'm just going to tuck it right here just to bring out those white stripes that we've been going with throughout the entirety of this arrangement here. Then I'm going to mimic it on the other side here. So what I'm going to do to address the extra plastic around the sides is I'm going to use my scissors to cut it and then fold it in and cover it with moss. Just be really careful not to, you know, cut your plants, which is a real possibility. So now that I've cut all of the plastic off, I'm gonna go in with the preserved moss. Now this isn't the type that comes in the sheet. This is the single little pieces. So I'm using tight, smaller pieces. I'm putting them in water so they're just a little bit more pliable. And little by little, I'm gonna go in and top dress / tuck in the rest of the plastic using this moss. So I'm gonna tuck this in. With any extra moss that was already hanging is even better. You can use that to just tuck in the sides of the plastic, and parts where you're seeing it could use a little help, that's where the moss comes in, right? So we're just gonna tuck this in the sides. You might have to back your plant up a little bit, but it's all right. And just tuck this down the sides. And you can kind of see how the sheet moss is this like perfect green, and this moss is more natural. So I like to go in and also fill in some areas in here and tuck some of that moss in to give it some of that natural imperfection, if that makes any type of sense. Alright y'all, that's it. It's all finished. I really hope you enjoyed this project. I did mine with low light plants because, you know, we don't have much sun right now in the winter months here where I am, but you could really try this out with any sort of plant that meets your light requirements. And let me know how you liked this in the comment section below. And if you try it out yourself, don't be afraid to tag me at Broadway Gardener. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.